If you're like me, every time you see a creepy crawly, you just want to get the hell out of here. We're checking out Creepy Crawly Stories by Let Me Explain Studios. Let's go. And I forgot to put on my headphones. Oh shit, a scorpion. What the fuck? Does that count as a creepy crawly? Oh my.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you're lost.
No.
Hell is this way.
Ah.
You know, the topic of squishing bugs has actually become a bit of a polarizing subject because of the internet, and it all amounts to good PR. Don't hurt the bees, they pollinate and make honey. Don't hurt the ants, they're nature's broom, cleaning up so many messes. Don't hurt the spiders, they kill all the bugs we actually hate, right?
Yeah.
Flies and mosquitoes and roaches and
That's why I like
bedbugs and
spiders.
silverfish and wasps. Get them all out of
Nah.
here and erase their existence from the earth.
I mean, they all have a reason to be here.
Sounds like
They're all
certain bugs
here
get a
for
pass if
some
we view them
purpose.
as beneficial to us in certain ways. But you know who else eats other pests? Scorpions. Though I'd wager you're far more willing to smack one of
I
them
don't like
over
scorpions.
a spider, aren't ya? You know who else is nature's broom? Maggots. But they make you want to puke, don't they? Point is, every species of insect and arachnid has a benefit to the delicate ecosystem of the planet we live on, no matter how disgusting or scary or annoying or dangerous they are. Do I think we should
I
go out
hate
of our way to
mosquitoes,
exterminate
bro.
every scorpion on the face of the planet? No, absolutely not. And if you can, should you use the relocation method on the odd intruder into your home? Sure, as best as you're able to. But is occasionally smacking a scorpion that's about to disappear into your bed sheets okay? Who's to say? I guess that's the discussion. I have definitely taken on a more empathetic stance on bugs as I get older, but it wasn't always that way. There was a weird phase I went through starting about the age of 11 where I suddenly and totally inexplicably became scared of most bugs. Funny, that's about the time
that's
that my family
pretty
went to
common.
Disney's Animal Kingdom for the first time. But I'm sure that's entirely unrelated.
Oh, what the fuck? I never went on that. A Bug's Life, right?
Entirely unrelated. That's the 3D show It's Up to Be a Bug over at Disney World, and I was terrified of it. I think I actually ran out of it the first few times I saw it, which is ironic because Flick's whole motivation in that show is to get humans to empathize with bugs. Before the show, only really had a fear of wasps and bees. After the show, all bugs were made by a dark evil force hell-bent on destroying me. Except
okay,
ones with
not the
pretty
bees.
privilege, of course. But do you want to know what snapped me out of it? Extreme desensitization. It's a little difficult to live
The
on
more
a
you're
ranch
around
out in the
them, I
country
guess
with a
you just
bug
learn to
phobia,
live.
Especially in the Texas country where your neighborhood critters are wolf spiders, black widows, brown
Oh,
recluses,
shit!
striped bark scorpions, a plethora of different wasps, and my personal favorite, the Texas red-headed centipede. Boy, do I have some stories about these guys. Back when David was in middle school, he had a
Bro,
lot
I
of
live up
fake
north,
bugs and
so
toy
we don't
critters that
see
he
this
would use
stuff
to
as
play
much.
pranks on Dad and our grandpa. He even one time put a toy snake under Dad's pillow. You know, typical childhood mischief. Well, one day David and Dad were in the kitchen. Dad had made himself a plate of food and was walking into the living room to sit down in his favorite chair. But when he got to the sofa, he noticed laying on the armrest was one of David's rubber bugs. He rolled his eyes and said to David in the kitchen,
It's not rubber,
"Hey,
that's the
come get
plot
this
twist."
Stupid toy centipede off the couch." David looked up from what he was doing with a wide-eyed expression. And without saying a word, he zipped out of the kitchen as fast as he could. What the?
It's not a
And
toy.
that's when it moved.
No. Oh shit.
David waited for 5 minutes, hoping that would be enough time. But when he went back inside, the couch cushions had been thrown everywhere, and a huge ruckus was happening underneath the dining room table.
There they go. Oh shit. Damn, yo, leave it
Daddy emerged
alone.
from under the table like a battle-weary soldier. The threat has been neutralized. So here's a fun fact about Rachel she probably doesn't want me to tell. She has a major aversion to small crawly things. And there have been numerous times when we both lived at the ranch where she would call me on my phone yelling at me to come get a creepy crawly for her. She even one time accidentally squished a gecko in her bedroom door at like midnight and called me to come pick up the little gecko body for her. Like I was some sort of criminal underground
exterminator or
contact who could get
something.
rid of the corpse for you. Well, she's had her own run-in with one of these centipedes that probably still haunts
Bro,
her to
I
this
don't
day.
like what this
One
looks
night,
like.
She and Mom were in the living room watching TV, and she got up to make a drink. She hadn't taken 2 steps before seeing movement out of the corner of her eye. She looked down and saw a giant centipede in the middle of the floor crawling directly at her. And I kid you not, she screamed so loud that it made the centipede jump.
What
it
the
may have
fuck?
scared her, but she scared it, and it slithered under the couch to get away. Meanwhile, I was hanging out in my room, minding my own business.
Imagine it just comes out of the bed.
Yeah. A centipede almost killed me and it ran under the couch. Get your sorry hide down here right now and do something about it! Huh? And I never found it. Looked for a solid half hour, even moved the couch. But that thing had disappeared into the shadows. Well,
It's hiding
done all I
somewhere
could do.
inside the couch.
Best of luck to you, sis. Be sure to check your bed sheets tonight. Some people's naivete about bugs is funny to me and can make for great stories. We have these insects in Texas called katydids, sometimes called
I've
bush
never
crickets.
seen these.
They're completely harmless. They're actually kind of stupid. They act like humans don't exist half the time. And they're mostly just annoying because they make a lot of noise, particularly at night. But every now and then our area gets overrun with them during the summer, like you have to watch where you step kind of overrun. And one of their traits is they're very sticky. You get one of these on the hood of your car, and it doesn't matter how fast you're going down the highway, these bugs are like,
shit.
do your worst, Poseidon! Well, one day, Mom and I were out and about, and we decided to stop for lunch at a sandwich shop, one of those that had big windows out front. But when we walked in, a young woman whose table was right by the front door stopped us. She had a fearful look on her face, and she said, "Oh my gosh, maybe you didn't see it, but there's a huge bug on the front of your car." Confused, we looked over at our car.
Let's see it.
And seated right there on the hood was a katydid. Just doing his thing.
How did
We
she
turned
see
back to
that
the
from
woman
all
and
the
I
way
said,
there?
"Oh, yeah, that's a katydid." She said, "I was just so scared that it was gonna jump on you as you walked by." You from out of town, honey? We explained to her that
Yeah,
they're
that's what it
super
sounds
chill
like.
little doofuses and probably couldn't harm anyone even if they tried. It was a fun opportunity to help educate a city kid. You know, now that Charlie's here, I think it's appropriate to throw in a bonus story about him. As I mentioned before, we had a lot of different species of wasps that made their home around our ranch. Well, one day I was outside with Charlie in our breezeway just hanging out. Suddenly, we both noticed
Oh,
a
shit.
big red wasp sitting on the floor.
A
Still
red wasp?
alive, but for some
I've
reason,
never
it
seen
had been
those.
grounded. Charlie fearlessly went up to it, and before I could stop him, he slammed his nose right onto it. He sniffed it, jerked his head back up with his ears perked, touched his nose to it again, pulled back again, and... Whoa! I don't think the wasp stung his nose. I genuinely think he was just sounding
Bro,
the alert.
what?
Wanted to make sure that everyone knew that the anger bee was right there. You're a real funny one, my man. That's cold. And I don't like the cold. But the basic white girl thing that I do love is getting cozy. And what a coincidence! We're in cozy season finally.
Well, that looks like the video, Creepy Crawlies Stories. I hate bugs. I'm thankful I don't live in the South, man. It's brutal down there, man. I would say if you live in like the South states, like Florida, Texas, California, Arizona, Alabama, Tennessee, you're surrounded by all the bugs. But like when you're up north, you know, where New York is, Ohio, Maine, whatchamacallit, Washington, you're pretty much safe, yo. So I'm thankful I live up in the north. But yeah, feel bad for you guys living down in the south. Anyways, I'm signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.